Hello, hello, and welcome to Bla Bla Black Sheep, a weekly podcast where I answer your yarny questions and talk about all things yarny going on in my life. I am Sarah Korth of SEK Handmade, and welcome to episode number 7. You guys, these are piling up, and I love it. I love it. I love it. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. If you are here for the first time, I am pleased that you are going to spend a little time with me. If you are returning, welcome back. Great to see you again. And if the whole point of this podcast is for me to answer your questions and share my knowledge, and I want to be a resource for you. So in the show notes below this video is a place where you can ask questions so that I can answer them on a future episode. So I would love it if you would go ahead and ask a question there so that I can answer it in a future episode. Do all the YouTubey things, do the subscribing, the liking, the commenting. I love to chat with people, so I'd love to have a conversation with you. Let me tell you what I'm wearing. My first thing that I'm wearing is my Yvonne earrings. I'm obsessed with these. Last summer, I don't know, at some point I was like, no granny squares. I'm not a granny square person. And then I had a request by my local yarn shop owner, Sarah, Casting On, to do a granny square project that they were popular. She thought that people would enjoy a class on it, and so I went down the rabbit hole and I fell in deep. I have several granny square patterns, but one of my favorites is this little earring. I think it's great for any yarny crafter. It looks a little bit like a quilting square, so I think it's fun if you are a crocheter and you have a friend who's a quilter. That might be a good gift for them. If you are not an earring maker, like if that intimidates you, first of all, you can totally do it. But also, I will link the shop of my friend. I'll link the information of my friend Amber, who is making earrings, and so you can order some from her. Yay! All right, I am not wearing a shawl today, but I'm going to. I wanted to share with you my Braids and Bobbles Shawlette, I call it, because it's like a mini shawl. Look, it doesn't get super big. And I wanted to share with you, if you go a few episodes back, I'm wearing it in wintertime. So my Shawlette starts off skinny. It's worked side to side. It gets wider, but not super wide. And then you decrease again. This works up really fast. I just remade this sample because I love this yarn. And it makes a really nice long shawlette. One of my testers, Britt of Not Bad Britt, who I did a Meet the Maker on, if you want to watch, or with, if you want to watch that. She used hers. She wrapped it in her hair, which was gorgeous. I always love that style, but never feel like it looks good on me. It was wonderful. But it also is great for transitioning. So if you saw me a few episodes back, I don't know what episode it was, I was wearing it wrapped around a whole bunch, and it was almost like a little collar, because I had it wrapped many times and it kept my neck nice and warm. But this kind of small shawlette is great for as the weather changes, which is what it's doing here finally. And so I wanted to show you like how I wear it when it's not freezing cold and I need it for warmth. So I start, you can see these puff stitches. The shawlette does not have a wrong side and a right side. It's I don't know the word. It's the same on both sides, pretty much. And so either way is cool. So to wear it, I just find the middle, which is the largest section of puff stitches. And then I just wrap the long ends around. And you can see, look, I have plenty of shawl to do this with. And again, I try to lay it kind of flat because even though it's a shawlette, it can still get kind of bulky and fluffy. Like it's a lot of fabric around your neck there if you don't keep it fairly flat. So, and then just drape and I leave a nice big loop. It allows me, especially with my short hair, to keep the back of my neck warm. But also, if you look, you know, you can loop it so that it has room in the front and the back. And then I just let the ends hang out. You could tie a knot, you know, just fold it over and give it a little tie if you like that. You could also like run it back up underneath so that it just looks like a little loop. You might need a pin or something in there to keep those steady depending on what you're doing. So lots of ways to wear a shawlette and to wear a shawl even as the weather gets warmer, and just drape it more loosely around your neck as long as you've got that nice long amount of fabric to be able to do that. So I had one thing down as the thing that was bringing me joy, but I'm going to tell you a little story here. Today I was a dog catcher. I don't know, does that have a dog saver? I don't know. I took the boys to school. I drove up in my car back to my house, and this little yellow dog, not little, he was pretty big, about the size of Weston, is trotting across my yard. And I look around because, you know, some people have well-behaved dogs that they let off leash, even though that's against the law. And so I was like, is there an owner around here? I thought there was a guy driving with his window down, and I thought, well, maybe the dog got out and like he's following the dog to take it back home. Nope, he drove off. So I get out of my car. I keep a dog leash in my car. I should say, do I recommend that you do this? No. Do I do it anyways, even though it's stupid? Yes, I do. I brought dogs home when I was in elementary school. I didn't know my mom was scared of dogs. She's scared of large dogs, and I distinctly remember bringing a dog home when I was in elementary school. This thing was enormous, and just being like, Mom, he was just out there by himself. We have to find his owner. And my mom was probably like, oh my gosh, Sarah, what am I going to do with this enormous dog? So there's a dog just trotting around my yard, nobody around. I get the leash out of my car. Do I keep a leash in my car for such incidents? Yes, I do. And I do my like smoochy, high pitched, like, hey. I'm trying to tell you what I did without waking up Weston because he's sleeping. And I don't want to get him riled up. The dog trots right over to me and is like so friendly. Immediately lets me hook. It had a collar, but no tags. So I hook the leash on the collar. Thankfully, that at least makes it easier. But people keep tags on your dogs with like a phone number to call or an address or something, so that if somebody finds your dog, you can bring them back. That's always my biggest fear, is that my dog will get away, and that, I mean, Weston will come right up to anybody. So if he saw people, they could bring him home because he has a tag with his name and my phone number on it. Anyways, they did not. So I was like, okay, I'm praying that this doggo lives close by. I saw it come down a street. I just start going back up that street. Every house that has a car or anything that makes it look like someone's home, I'm ringing the doorbell, knocking on the door. Is this your dog? Do you know this dog? And so a neighbor, a couple down, Judy and Chris, met them, very nice, said, oh gosh, that dog looks familiar, but I'm not exactly sure. And I was like, it's okay. I'm going to keep going. Go 2 houses down, ring the doorbell. Gentleman is like, yes, that's my dog. Yay! I have to tell you, this drives my husband crazy. He always says jokingly, not always, but he says jokingly, like, the 2 random ways you might die are being attacked by a dog you're trying to save, or I get very grumpy about people and their shopping carts. And so when I was younger, I refrain now, but when I was younger, I would sometimes be like, are you kidding me? When people would just like push their shopping carts into parking spots. It really annoys me. It's disrespectful, people. Put them in the cart catcher. You don't even have to take it all the way back inside. put it in the stinking card catcher. And we lived in Arizona, and Brian was like, you're going to get shot. You're going to do that to somebody who has a gun, and you're going to make a man, and they're going to shoot you. So, do I recommend you chase down random dogs in your neighborhood? No. Do I do it? Yes, I do. So it brought me so much joy to find that lovely dog and take him back to his home. But be careful. Don't do it yourself. I don't want any letters about how you got bit because you were trying to do the thing that I do. Speaking of dogs, my mug today, how cute is that? You guys, I got this 3 years ago. I love it. It doesn't have the company name, the artist name on the bottom, like it's signed, but it's just like Alex 2020. My husband said I need to do a Google search and maybe I'll find the maker. If I do, when I do, if you know how to do a Google search, image search, let me know because I don't know. I suppose I could Google it. But I'll put in the show notes if I can find who this mug is by because it's just the most adorable. You know I love the dogs. But I will point you in a direction of a dog coffee brand that I do love. Grounds and Hounds makes coffee, mugs, adorable accessories for people who love dogs and coffee. And they give a percentage of their profits to animal rescue. So highly recommend them. Good coffee, adorable mugs. I have a couple of them. And if I figure out where that's from, I'll let you know in the show description below. Okay, so the thing that I was going to say was bringing me joy, and I'm just going to share it anyways because it is bringing me joy, is I've been having to, a lot of yarn tires that I follow at least, have been like clearing out their excess stock. So like, you know, they dyed 30 skeins of yarn and they have one left. Or, you know, sometimes to get a colorway just right, they will do some test skeins that end up being one of a kind because they're still great colors but weren't what they were aiming for their collection. Or I know my friend Fatima who dyes has said like she, you know, they write like sometimes, I shouldn't say everybody, but often they'll write like a recipe for themselves and like she'll accidentally sprinkle the wrong color. So like if you added, I don't know, Lowry salt instead of just table salt to your thing. But when it's a color, you know, that it doesn't look like the rest of the colors then. So she'll sell them as one of a kind. So my friend at Daisy Stitches Co., who I've worked with in the past on a collaboration, was doing that. She was doing some mystery bundles. So what it was you would get a certain number of skeins for a greatly reduced price. You didn't get to pick. You only got to pick the weight of your yarn. So this is my package. So I thought it would be fun to open it together. I have no idea what's inside other than the fact that I know I picked fingering weight yarn. So you bear with me here. I'm going to open this very carefully because it makes me so nervous to cut into yarn packages because I'm always scared. I haven't done it yet, knock on wood, but it always makes me nervous that I'm going to cut into the yarn. And then, oh my gosh, what a waste. How sad would that be? Okay. Ooh, I think I'm going to tear it. That always makes me more comfortable because I can't tear through yarn. All right, so this is my mystery bundle from Daisy Stitches Co. Let's see. Okay, oh, and I bought 2 of them. Oh, okay. So these are the 3 yarns. I'm definitely digging this purple. You know that is my color. I like this blue, but it's not my fave. And this pink is definitely something I would not have chosen. But I am really loving and leaning into, excuse me, like having an unexpected color, maybe something I wouldn't choose in a project, and like having it as like a little accent. So that might be fun for that. The other thing is I have lots of yarny friends, so when I do these things, I can often think of like, oh, so-and-so would like that. And so then sometimes I just get to send on a little fun gift to somebody or use them for giveaways in the future. Oh, okay. Okay. Let me tell you, this first color, so the sagey green here, I know someone who would love that. That's not really my jam, but I definitely know someone who would love that. I absolutely love this yellow color. That's gorgeous. And I'm not a big orange person, but I could see the orange and the yellow being used together for a really pretty fall something. I only feel orange in the fall. Otherwise, I'm not really an orange person, but well, that's kind of fun. Okay, so I definitely have some skeins that I love, and I definitely have some skeins that that I'll pass on. But so fun to open those. I'm gonna toss these on the floor because they're in baggies and because I can't read what I wrote on my tablet to answer the questions. So yay, thank you for opening those with me. If you love those kinds of things, or you're not sure about if you would enjoy that, if I don't know who you follow, but a lot of the yarn dyers I'm following are starting their pre-orders for their Advent kits. That's because Advent takes a long time to put together an Advent, to dye it up and to skein it up and everything. It takes a lot of time. I did an Advent for the very first time last year, totally on a whim. There are videos. I'll link them in the show notes about what I felt about it. I mean, obviously I didn't feel terrible because I'm buying more mystery things. And I have ordered another Advent for this December that I'm very excited about and a little nervous. So anyways, just a quick, I know we're past midpoint of the month, but I just want to give another push for the shawl along. We're having a lot of fun. Lots of people are making lots of gorgeous shawls. It's been fun to see them. I'm not going to go big into it. There's a Facebook group you can join. There's an Instagram chat you can join depending on where you like to hang out. Use the hashtag if you're going to share SEK Spring Shawl along. And then we can all see everything that everybody's making, which is a lot of fun. So I asked a few episodes ago what your length preference was to these, and you said about 30 minutes. So I'm trying to keep it brief. So if you feel like I'm rushing, it's because I am a little bit. I want to respect your preferences, and people said about 30 minutes is good, and I'm already a ways in. So I want to move right on to questions, and I'm noticing that the prop I have for the questions is sitting over there. So, sorry. Okay. So the first question I want to answer is about a specific kind of yarn. So this person said, I tagged you in a post yesterday, which was a few days ago at this point. I tagged you in a post yesterday for a Halloween Advent. So much fun. I know lots of people love Halloween. With a Coraline theme from Silly Goose Yarns. I saw the inspiration pictures for that. So fun. So fun. I did see the post. So I'm going to pause right here real quick because I want to say I saw this post. She tagged me. I saw in my notifications that she tagged me. And she was talking about my poppy shawl. And I was like, yay, how cute. But I did not realize that she was asking a question. She was wondering something. If you do this and I either respond with neat, but don't respond to what you were asking, or I miss it totally and you have a question, send me a message, send me an email, send me a DM. And then if I don't respond, keep bugging me because I have noticed that especially Facebook, it's pretty good on Instagram, but especially Facebook, not notifying me of things. Facebook. I want to respond. I want to answer questions. I want to connect. So don't feel like she just doesn't care. I do care. Sometimes I'm either clueless or or I don't get the notifications. So bug me again. It's not bugging me. I'm one of those people who I'm like, I don't want to bug people. Bug me. Please bug me. You're not bugging me. All right. So I did not answer her question, but she decided to go with a Marino Stellina mix. So she said, I did pick the Marino Stellina mix because that Halloween Advent, you could choose your base. And a lot of times in these things, you can choose a base. So she chose a mixture of Marino, and Stellina. So she says, have you ever worked with Stellina? Stellina? Oh my gosh, words are so hard. Stellina, and what did you think of it? So I would like to start by saying, no, I have not worked with Stellina yarn, but I crowdsourced this with my trusted yarny friends who I know have worked with Stellina. So I reached out to them and I was like, hey, tell me about Stellina yarn. And the response was great. So first, before I talk about the Stellina yarn, let's talk about what is Stellina yarn. So this was my prop. This is Stellina yarn, and then this cake is a mess, absolute mess, but you can see, hopefully. So Stellina yarn is a yarn that can be made of any fiber content, really. But what makes it Stellina is this beautiful metallic that runs through it. I think you can see it kind of sparkling there. I put this in front of my face so that it focuses on that because it's trained to focus on my face. Yay, technology. But then I can't see what you're seeing. So it's sparkly. So this is a navy yarn with a metallic silver thread running through it. I haven't used Stellina. This is one of two Stellinas I have in my stash, and they were both gifted to me. And when I pulled this out, I was like, you know what, this would make a super cute, it would make a super cute little like crop summer sweater to wear over like a bright color or something. So I have in my head that Stellina yarns are fancy and I wouldn't wear it every day, but I think you could. So don't listen to me and my brain that's lying to me. I should make something up with this. So what the Stellina is in it, I did some Googling, and let me tell you, there is not a lot of information out there about like what is Stellina yarn. When you Google that, not all, but a lot of what you get is people selling yarn that has Stellina in it. And Stellina is just the sparkle component. So what I found is that Stellina is a nylon fiber that is metallic toned. So it can come in lots of metallic tones. Typically, I have seen it in silver and gold, but I mean, it could be copper, which would be gorgeous. So it's just the nylon, which is, man-made fiber that's been colored silver or metallic, I guess. But I have some great news. When I reached out to my friends who have worked with Stellina yarn, what they said, hands down, was it's no different. It doesn't make a difference if there's Stellina in it. And I said, like, did you have to work with it differently? No. Did you use a special hook? No. I have a friend who made a top out of it. Nicole of Handmade by Yarn Mama. You can go to her Instagram and see a top she made out of Stellina yarn. It's gorgeous. I said, did it block differently? She said, no. Lots and lots of yarns have nylon in them. So just like any yarn, my advice for using a Stellina yarn would be do a swatch. Work a good size swatch, not like a teeny tiny swatch. Work a good size swatch and block it so that you know how your yarn is going to react, because different Stellina yarns are just like any kind of yarn. Each yarn behaves a little differently, and you need to know how it's going to behave before you work with it, especially if you're making a garment. So get to know your yarn by making a really nice swatch, and maybe experiment a little bit. If you are using a oh gosh, a wooden hook and you're finding it's like sticking a little bit, dragging too much, move to a metal hook. Maybe it'll slide easier. So just not advice any different from what I would give for any yarn that's new to you. The way we learn about our materials is by using them. And the way we build our depth of knowledge about yarns and hooks and fiber content and all of those things is by doing, which is part of the reason I'm still looking into whether I want to work on spinning or not. Stop it. Okay. I can't have another craft. I want one, but I can't have one. So the great news is it's no different. You'll just have a fun sparkle in whatever you make, which will be lovely. So tag me in what you make. If you've made something out of Stellina yarn, I'd love to know in the comments below. If you have any experience with it, if you found anything different, or have tips for working with it, or have a project you've made with it that you'd suggest, I'd love to know, so comment below. These questions never have to be answered just by me, so if you have experience that you would like to share, comment below and share your knowledge too. All right, so my second question is kind of a more personal question, which is welcome as well. Personal question. So the question is, where do you get inspiration for your patterns? Lots of places. I am inspired by fashion for sure. You may have noticed that I'm maybe not the most trendy person, especially now that the trends have leaned back towards my childhood. I don't desire a cargo pant. There are several things in the 90s fashion that I'm like, you know what, I've done that before. You all can just have that this go round. But I'm definitely inspired, like when I find, I'm not there yet, but I'm slowly inching towards designing some garments. And so I'm definitely inspired by things that I wear and love, and I think I should make my own. I have this sweater that I love. I wear all the time. It's just a great shape. It's a nice construction. Like it's everything I love. And I don't know what I did. I don't know if I caught it with scissors or on something else that was sharp, but I put a little hole in it. And I was like, you know what, Sarah, if you had a pattern for that, you just make another one. But now you have to decide, do you want to do some exposed mending? Do you want to try to hide the mending? Do you not mend at all and just mourn the loss? I don't know. So I definitely get inspiration from clothes that I wear that I think in the future, oh, I'd love to have this or that, or have a pattern for this or that. I'm definitely inspired. I have a whole Pinterest board of fashion inspiration. And this is not like trend fashion inspiration. If you don't have this, I highly recommend. It's just like, what do I like? When I see that person, what do I think? Like, that's a cute combination of colors, shapes, style, accessories, patterns, any of that kind of stuff. So I definitely get inspiration there. And then I also get inspiration just from problems that I have. So one of my most favorite inspirations is the shape of my poppy shawl. And I'm leaning, it started with my Levana shawl, and I'm going to lean hard into this shape because I just love it so much. I am a short person with tall person energy, I like to say. But I'm a short person. I'm like just 5'3". And then I'm also fairly large chested. And so I don't need extra volume in this area. And so a regular triangle shawl, I would make them, especially crochet them, and be like, it's just too much. It's just too much. And so rather than designing in traditional shapes that don't work for me and my body, I design in long and skinny because this works for me. I can wear this lots of ways. It's very functional for someone like myself who is short and voluptuous, shall we say. And then that kind of, I don't know, boomerangy, I like to call it like a crescent moon shape of my poppy shawl, and the Zoe shawl, which is coming out, is that shape. My Levana shawl is that shape. I have plans for lots of other shawls being that shape because it's just so wearable. So I get inspiration from fashion. I get inspiration from solving problems that I have with patterns that are out there. And then also I'm super inspired by stitches. I love flipping. I'm such a nerd. I love flipping through stitch dictionaries and just looking at the different textures and thinking about how things can be put together. I love really high texture things like puff stitches and popcorn stitches, and then just things that make really unique shapes and textures that I think look non-traditional crochet. So things that people would be like, is that crochet? Is that not crochet? How did you make that? I love that look. So those are things that inspire me. I have to tell you, when I very first started designing, my biggest fear was that I would say, I'm a designer. And then like a month later, I would be like, who has no inspiration for what to make next? But that has not been my experience. I have more inspiration than time to make stuff. So, I'm very inspired on a regular basis. So yeah, that's where I get my inspiration from. You guys, we're just a little over 30 minutes. And so I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thank you so much for joining me today. This was so much fun, and I hope you have a great week, and come back and join me next week. Check out the show notes, subscribe, like, do all the things. Have a marvelous day, and happy crafting.